Hello, Noi Noi, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Jonathan Maldhound, review your deck without making incredible fun of you, and we talk about what's wrong with your PP. That's your primer and your premise. Not your, fuck, I did it wrong. Your premise and your practicum. Your premise being the idea behind your deck, and the practicum being the cards you picked, and whether or not they support the idea behind your deck. I will want to pull up a Google Doc to just help keep track of what are our priorities. Are we meeting those priorities? Are we not meeting those priorities? This is one I use for the streamed ones, which we don't really have to do, so we will just rename this. Goals. I did a quick once-over of your primer, but let me look at it again. I saw we want to do experience counter shenanigans. Well, experience counters through blink shenanigans. Finish the table with Cracker Hoof or some other overrun. Feels bracket 2, but I want it to be bracket 3. Want to avoid Factorio tendencies. We want to be bracket 3, but we don't want game changers suggested. I think that is something for your therapist. I will leave it for them. Four-card infinite, da-da-da-da-da. I probably won't mess about too much with that. I think if you, especially when you say I want to keep the cards featuring Aang, like I feel like if we want to venerate Aang with this deck, focusing tighter in on the infinite is pretty bleh. White has a lot of overruns. You have a lot of anthems. The Aang makes 1/1 tokens. Like, we definitely don't need to get too up our ass with an infinite to make this close the door on people. So we have land, question mark, 36 untagged lands, 34 untagged lands, 36 total, which you guys can't see because my glorious forehead's blocking it. We have some airbend, we have some ramp, we have some recursion. Okay, I take issue with what you think words mean for sure. These are all good cards to have. Recursion typically means get something back from graveyard. This is flicker, my boy. Avoid and evade. So these are instant speed flicker spells we can use as protection. Sure. This is not mana. I will accept that we want them to have flying and lifelink. But no. It is not a good mana generator. Removal. Yeah, for sure. Not all of this removal is made equal. I love seeing Skyclave Apparition. So our first goal, really, if this deck is going to do what it wants to do, get 5 mana. Normally I wouldn't bring up getting to a mana value, but when you have to get to a high mana value, it's normally good to support that quite a lot. I would argue this is one of those decks where maybe we could be. I normally lean towards if you want to get to 5 mana or more, you care less about like, ooh, Arcane Signet, ooh, Loyal Warhound. Like we no longer want to spend 1 card to get 1 mana. You get into the territory of I want to spend 1 card to get 2 mana. Please and thank you. You want to start bringing out cards that are typically seen as like pretty bad, which I recommend all the time and use in my own decks to great effect, like Worn Power Stone and Palladium Mirror. Because these cut down on the number of land drops you have to hit. Some of the stuff you're playing overcomes that. White's really, really good at catch-up ramp. Like you're using Claim Jumper. I would actually call this one of the few cards you have that does represent getting more than 1 mana per card. Scepter being another one. I like Tataru in the deck, but for the most part, like the Pearl Medallions, the Oketra's Monuments, the Loyal Warhounds, even Knight of the White Orchid, I'm going to hold a final judgment on these because anything with an ETB is inherently elevated by all of the flicker that we have. But usually, I prefer and have a better time with a like self-contained, I play this card, I have the mana. Fuck yeah, let's go. And then after that, looking at your removal, because the two things we can do with any deck really is make the proactive plan better, make the reactive plan better. If we're feeling like we're bracket 2 right now, we want to get to bracket 3, we can either do what the deck is already doing faster, either by ramping more quickly, having a more explosive finish, having more tutors, da 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 da, or we can get better at stopping what our opponents are doing. So first and foremost, how many one-sided board wipes do we have? We have Settle, we have Winds of Abandon, we have Austere Command. Okay, so we have 3. So we're probably not seeing 1 every game. That's not the end of the world. We have 1 that would probably be symmetrical. We have can remove a creature, can remove a creature, can remove a creature, can remove a bad creature, will remove some creatures, will temporarily remove some creatures, will temporarily remove. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that. We can work with that for sure. Our card draw is basically all Factorio stuff. It's like if I'm drawing Flicker, I'm going to draw a ton of cards. If I'm not drawing Flicker, or if I'm not playing all my little dickheads, I'm drawing very, very few cards. I don't know if I love... Or we're moving straight into Practicum. I should say, your premise, yeah, fine. You have quite a lot of inevitability here. I don't think there's anything wrong with the plan of I'm going to get to Ang, and then I'm going to flicker a bunch of stuff for value. Part of the reason I immediately shortcut to looking at your ramp section is when that is the plan, most of what we flicker doesn't matter before we play Ang. So I would beef this mana section up. I think very little of what you do has any impact until Ang is on the board to see it. So, if that's the case, we want Ang to come out really goddamn quick. So I don't know if I would even I would not cut the things I talked badly about. I would add more to the ramp section. Maybe get towards 13 to 15 cards. I would either want to be really sure I was going to hit one of these cards that taps for 2 mana, or I would want to hit multiple of these other options. We have Airbend. These are all avatar-specific cards, which we're going to try to keep alive. We have the card draw here, and then we have our finishers when we have just an awful gosh darn lot of cards. So Moonshaker works. Kinbinding certainly works. Hellish Norn certainly works. Porcelain Gallery certainly works. Banner of Kinship certainly works. Appa... Oh yeah, Appa the Vigilant certainly works. Yeah, these are all fine, and I think these can all fly in a bracket 3 table. I think for bracket 3, all we need to really be worried about is speed. If this is feeling bracket 2, we're going to go to the playtest to see. My guess would be we are doing a lot of pre-Ang flicker and not playing Ang until turn 4, turn 5, maybe even turn 6 if we get unlucky because we are on 36 lands, and that's making us drag our feet because we don't start building up these experience counters until pretty late into the game for bracket 3. I see Moxfield is intent on proving me right, so we do Pearl Medallion. Now, to your credit, hey, we get a flicker engine going. That's money right there. So we play Ang turn 4, which bracket 2, you're sitting pretty. Pre-con games, you're fine. Bracket 3, this is where we're probably sweating a little bit. And so that is where just more ramp can come in. Like, this guy is almost all colorless. You can be really irresponsible with your mana rocks. Like, you can be straight up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You can do it. I believe in you. There's also the added difficulty of we really want Ang to be played with another creature on board, which kind of makes me love Palladium Mirror even more because we can just airbend his dumbass. But now we're here. We flicker him at end step. Hey, experience counter. I'm going to track this way. On our upkeep, we get a guy. We play Flicker Wisp, and go bye-bye, come back. We get an experience counter. Ang ETB, we airbend Flicker Wisp. I replay Flicker Wisp. We get an experience counter for that. And go bye-bye and come back from Flicker Wisp. I think this even cost 1 less mana each time because of the medallion. So I have 2 more mana open. Can't use it on any of this stuff though. And I wouldn't have had the mana to proliferate, so I'll just hold Karn's Bastion until next turn. But I go to my next turn, and I make... I know these aren't the actual tokens he's making, but I'm up to 5 total. Hell yeah. Whenever another creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, airbend that creature. Sure, why not? Oh my god, and then I would have... right, I missed the end step trigger, so I think I'm coming into this turn with 6, because I exile Flicker Wisp to Teleportation Circle, who then hits Ang. So it's even more. Okay, I tell you, this might be a Factorio deck, but the Factory is functional. So here, what are my problems? My only real problems is that I do not have robust enough card draw to get to a finisher. If I had Craterhoof in hand right now, I ice the table. Sick. And I even have a board wipe that would be nearly one-sided. It would require me to kill Ang, but I could keep my tokens and basically blow up every other good creature on the board. I do kind of dislike that our commander forces us to split the difference on Austere Command. I think I would recommend maybe Winnowing, because you can pick allies. He makes allies. These say warriors because I was lazy, but these are allies. It would ice your stuff that's like the Flicker Wisp, but I think that is still a better deal than having to ice my commander or having to ice all the tokens I make from my commander. Whether or not it's Winnowing, there's probably something that is a better sweeper for us. Oh, I know what it is. It's probably Hour of Reckoning, actually. Yeah, more expensive. Oh, no, it's not. Destroy all non-token creatures. That's even worse. I'm thinking of Everything Comes to Dust, which hurts the Factorio plan, because it would hit our artifacts and enchantments, but it would spare all of our creatures. For the record, my girlfriend has this in a bird deck, and it just fucking decimates the table, and they win every time they cast it, so I'm a little bit... I have personal bias towards this card, even though it's going to hit your engine pieces, because it hits their engine pieces every game, and they're just like, oh no, anyway, dead? Hey, land tax, isn't that cute? I'm getting minimum... I have more experience counters. I have... At this point, I was going to say, you have a massive army. We're basically playing draw go until we find a way to make that army kill people. So just as an exercise in that, genuinely at this point, I think you beat everybody to death, no buffs. Okay, now we get to draw an extra card every turn. Draw that. There it is, turn 17. Turn 17, we found her. So herein lies the problem. The 2 things you can do to correct this are we up the concentration of things that represent game-ending damage, or we up the card draw, or you find tutors that you can play that would work for this. I don't think very many tutors work. You don't want game changers anyway, which, again, I'll leave that to the therapist. Oh, non-game changer tutor, I'm going to get you. The Moon Blessed Cleric can get Kin Binding, can get Porcelain Gallery. and is flickerable for value. It could even get land tax if that's what you needed out of it. Like if you have this in an opening hand, you can just, and you have like 2 lands, Arcane Signet, play her, get land tax, play that, get lands for the rest of the game. But I think that's what needs to happen. I think the engine here is very, very clean. We have just built the engine to run for a long time, not necessarily a good time, not necessarily a fast time. And that's perfect for bracket 2. And we just get very, very quickly outpaced at bracket 3. So of each category, I think Flicker is probably what we shave the most from. I would be harshest on things that are not reusable, not creatures, can't double as removal. And I hate that that's leading me to cut Ephemerate. I would probably argue most for Lae'zel's Acrobatics, because it's just an awful lot of mana to hold up compared to something like Ephemerate. Bracket 3, we start to care a lot more about our spells being really efficient so that we can do stuff on our turn and then pass with interaction still available. So Lae'zel's Acrobatics, even though I know it's so juicy, I know it's juicy if you have like 5 flicker targets on board, I think that is the Factorio disease speaking to you. Interlude I kind of like for dodging a board wipe. God, fucking dead ass, it would be all of the cards with Aang on it. It would be every fucking card with Aang on it. What are we searching for with Starfield Shepherd? What do we have it? Because if this is just getting a plains, this becomes Moonblessed Cleric like immediately. Yeah, I think this is only thing that gets a land. This searches for an ally. Do we have an ally? I mean, we're probably gonna get it for 1, which is pretty juicy. And then Weathered Wayfarer is great. Never touch Weathered Wayfarer. Alright. If we're keeping the guys I promised I would let you keep, I would say Lae'zel's Acrobatics. Guardian of Girapur. God, it's so hard not to not to kill these motherfuckers. I see land question mark now, yeah. Probably Morning Tide's Light, which is gonna sound crazy because this is such a good card, but I'm trying to think about how your deck is going to progress the game into a winning board state, and I think most of the time you just overrun them so fucking hard that needing to do this doesn't matter. And this is, again, remembering there are 7 cards in here I would rather cut, but we're not going to because it has Aang on them and those make you happy, and I want you to be happy. So if you really don't want to cut Morning Tide's Light because it's just so crazy, then put 2 in the chest of Charming Prince. And just straight up more ramp. More ramp that has the possibility. What do we want? We want either a turn 3 Aang, which very few things make that possible, but a couple do. We want either a turn 3 Aang, or we want turn 4 Aang. Turn 4 I have 7 mana. I can play Aang, and I can replay the thing Aang has airbent, hopefully for value. I'm also not certain about Guardian of Faith. I mean, it does have an ETB actually, but now I worry that I'm falling in love with the Factorio too much because I'm just like, oh yeah, but the synergy would work so well instead of just being like the right card that functions better 90% of the time. Because anything with a Convoke, you just love, love, love. And then is there any other... Are there any other like overruns we can have? Power boost to all. What else are we missing? There's definitely Cathars Crusade. I'm gonna assume you have Abandoned Air Temple. Holy crap, we don't. Put Abandoned Air Temple in just for a land, just in case. I mean, Felidar Retreat ain't nothing. It's not the best, but it ain't nothing. Stormslayer really does seem like a bracket 2 card. Definitely does the power boost thing, but does quite feel like a bracket 2 card to me. This is other artifact creatures. You could Anduril. It's $11, so you may want to proxy Anduril depending on where you're going to play this deck. But if you're playing it online, who cares? And then we have Caretaker's Talent as well. And this is like definitively going to happen. At minimum, I think I would swap this with Tokaj's Welcome. Functionally in your deck, this seems like Tokaj's Welcome, just with more upside. So if I was just going to do a quick duplication and not justify any of my actions and just do them based on my own personal biases that I don't have to explain to anybody, I would... Guy fucking sucks. Everybody thinks that guy is great. I have no idea what they're talking about. Okay. I made room for 11 cards. So I'm going to put in Basalt Monolith. Worn Power Stone. Palladium Mirror. Is there a tag for adds 2 colorless mana? No. No, there's not. What other just big and huge ones do we have? Aura and Equipments. No, no, no. No, no, no. 5 mana to do it. No, thank you. Ugh. Ugh, that really looks like it. Then... guess I will also put in the Gold Mirror and the Ornithopter of Paradise. Then I've talked about Abandoned Air Temple, Caretaker's Talent, Anduril, which is Narsil Reforged. And then I would probably care to have more things that were just like pure burst draw, like holy shit, give me some cards. So I would say cut a deal, secret, rendezvous, Um, hmm. My brain wants to go for tempt with bunnies. I don't think that's particularly good for you, but we'll call that a placeholder of just here's what could happen if we had something that picked us up more cards. All right, so what do we have? We hit Loyal Warhound. We hit a thing that can airbend the Loyal Warhound. And we hit one of our finishers. Hitting one of our finishers makes me pretty happy. So we play a tapped land. I'm going to, on your behalf, assume that we have not gone first. We get a basic plains. Turn. We Archaeomancer's map, plains, plains. We are probably no longer getting outpaced. Maybe there's a green player. If I'm being, again, generous, I'll say there's a green player now. Get to play Aang for 5. But we've not gotten here with enough mana to replay the airbent thing. Doesn't matter. We get our first experience counter. So we'll then make... This is going to be our dude counter. So on turn 5, we have 1 dude. Next turn. Yeah, we have all of our finishers this game. For 2, replay the Airbent Loyal Warhound. I'll say he probably doesn't trigger. For 4, Aang the Last Airbender. Airbend this guy again. That gets us up to 2 experience. And then on our next upkeep, we go to 3. We go land. I mean, quite frankly, we can probably begin threatening some life totals just with kin binding. And then we hold up Guardian of Faith for when they try to board wipe us, because they probably try to board wipe us at this point. Nothing left to battlefield, so we go to our next upkeep. We make 2 guys. Kin binding count as at 2. Play this. Creatures have base power and toughness equal to the number of creatures we control. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're 9 9s that get plus 3 plus 3. So they're 12 12s. One of them flies. Push. Hope for the best. So we unfortunately, I don't think we drew a single card that I swapped into the deck, but I do think this playtest, contrasted with the first one, shows you're really not that far off of bracket 3. The only thing we're really missing is the speed, and the thing I want you to appreciate about this playtest, we don't actually need that many experiencers. White translates bodies into damage really, really quickly, especially with things like Appa that are giving you flying and vigilance. So again, with the Factorio-minded thing, I think the sheer amount of flickering you have going on is probably a bit too much, and you can bring that down to focus on things that ramp you faster. Preferably, I think you would want them to be creature mana dorks, even though that's a little bit fragile, because it guarantees you have a thing to airbend with Aang the turn you bring him in. Or more things that can tutor for your things that end the game. Even as I say that, I cut the ally tutor, so probably put the ally tutor back in. But I think you are close. You definitely probably should run game changers. The thing you need is faster Aang if you want the deck to keep caring about Aang. If you want to try to win a different way, there are definitely templates for other, mono white, I ETB you to death game plans that I have not suggested here, because it seems like we want Aang to be the hero. So try to get him out by turn 3, or try to have him happening like multiple things happening by turn 4. Oh, I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoyed.